Riding off-road is one of the most fun things you can do with big adventure bikes like this. But most people get scared when it comes to braking with a front brake. And I'm going to show you why you don't have to be afraid when you use the right technique. But why don't we use the rear wheel brake the whole time? Especially when we are riding off-road and we hit the rear brake, the whole weight from the bike will shift towards the front. That will cause an absolute blocking of the rear wheel. And especially in some moments when you're like riding downhill, you won't get to a stop, or you won't stop the quick you need to or you want to. And that is the effect we want to use, because the moment the weight shifts towards the front, the whole contact surface gets bigger, the tread pattern has a higher chance to dig its teeth into the surface, and because of the higher load on the front wheel, the grip just increases. The problem many people have is that they ask for grip too quickly and too early, because you need to leave the front suspension the time to compress, so that the weight can shift slowly towards the front wheel, while this will build up the grip to prevent the brakes from locking. If you like this kind of videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and if you don't like this kind of video, just hit the thumbs down twice. To achieve that, we can use two methods. The first one is the more easier and safer method, by just first locking up the rear wheel by hitting the rear brake, so that the weight can start shifting towards the front wheel. When the rear wheel is locked, we can start with one or two fingers applying more pressure on the front brake. By increasing the pressure, we can load more and more weight to the front wheel, gain traction and stop safe and easily. But the backdrop of this method is that when we lock the rear wheel, the bike starts fishtailing, and that makes it more difficult for us to keep the bike stable and in line. The other method is just using the front brake standalone. By progressively applying pressure to the front brake, we shift the weight towards the front of the bike, the same as with the other method, and have the same effect, gaining grip on the front wheel. The side effect of this method is that you are more stable. Because of the lack of fishtailing, you can keep the line more easy. But it is really easy to overdo it by giving the front too much pressure. And opening up the front brake will gain a lot of speed, especially going downhill. So that was it, folks. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to leave a comment down below. See you next time.